You see a set of tire cop habit. This isn't hard to say. No. You see a set of cop habit. This isn't hard cop habit. This isn't case related. You think the tire tracks were left here by an unknown. Some of that rubber stuck to the tile and then accelerated straight. The hole in this fence doesn't look that huge. He was exaggerating. People blame cops. The driver proceeded to back before heading south. Must have been in a hurry.
You are correct.
Somehow that made...
I'm not sure.
You could follow the tracks. Only the black cable is somewhere in something.
Why did you do that?
The bear's eyes are still...
It's certainly an...
But the optics on this are awful. Your visual
Shall we go and get the body? Beautiful. A dead body in a nice bare fridge. This is some of the... Of course you don't. Look at that. What have we done?
He means it. He doesn't want to be.
Did we though? At least we've stopped.
The bear's eyes are still glowing red. The bear's eyes are still glowing. You touched the dead. The bear's eyes are still glowing red. You touched... The bear's eyes are still glowing red. You touch the dead man's body. His... The bear's eyes are still glowing red. It's guarding over the freezing cold. The bear's eyes are still glowing. You touch... A colourful display.
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health. The pale aged vodka is special, I guess. It's stored in pale for a couple of years, which makes it, you know.
Don't worry your pretty little head about it. Let's concentrate on what's important.
I mean, I already said it'd hurt you. I don't know what else they do. Here you go, mister. Here you go, mister.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs.
I don't know. Let's see. Nosafed is a nasal spray. I don't really know what Hypnogamma is. I guess it makes you feel less shit. Uh-huh. Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes... Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something. Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste...
You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath.
Here you go.
The bear's eyes are still glowing red. It's guarding over the... The bear's eyes are still glowing red. You touch the dead man's body. The bear's eyes are still glowing red. The bear's eyes are still glowing red. Your arms reach out and your eyes close, as if by the... You're on the right track. Can you feel it? You see an abrasion collar. This is what we're...
Abrasion collar.
This man... The ululations of the limbic system have ended. Or the lieutenant arm. Sharp, serrated material. The edges cut right into your skin. The object...
We have the makings of... Can you get to it?
You pick the object between your index and middle finger.
A bullet.
The bullet.
A non-calibre rifle. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact. Of course, you've earned it. We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval high velocity. Temporary cavity in opinion. Fatal injury. That was then. This time we have extensive tissue destruction away from the wound track. This time we have a... And one last thing. We should amend injury number 3. Ligament mark.
He's proposing the bullet was the real cause.
Yes, and the belt around his neck. The hanging. I've had this doubt since you showed me the tracks, officer. There have been other signs too.
We almost fell for it. There is, of course, the very real possibility.
To put him out of his misery? That's for us to find out. To hide something. The real killer? The real... Yes.
This little thing could reveal much about the way...
We bag the corpse and carry him to the hole. Work on the case. I'll leave that choice.
The word detective.
All right. I will need a little help carrying him.
The bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag, bearing the arse. Beside his orderly handwriting, the bullet looks especially sad, like a tiny, shriveled, the squished little thing has no... I know. You should find the gun that shot this bullet. That sounds like something a police detective would do. First, you should learn all you can about, then find the gun that shot it and the person that gun belongs to. He used it to... The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It feels standard. It's quite destroyed. Far away, Lieutenant Kitsuragi is flipping through stations in his Kamino. He is not here examining the bullet with you. He should be. He would find the squashed bullet has some sharp edges. You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets. The citizens' militia uses cast bullets only. Little pebbles of metal loaded from the muzzle, usually in a cartridge.
Got the 20 real? Good. You got the room for the night, but remember, you'll need another 20 real tomorrow.
Hello again.
That smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint. It's heavy fuel oil.
What did you think I was using? Aquarels?
She did it herself. Pumped it out. She's proud of it too.
You ain't seen nothing yet, Piggy Boo.
She nods disdain.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Ozon, the woman on the boat, does not notice her staring.
Isn't it part of your job to know all the illustrious... Something morbid about old ladies trying to...
That's rich, coming from a young girl dressed up like a granny.
Oh, but that's the way it should be. The natural or... I ain't no snitch, Pigstein. Go... Can't you tell? I'm paid to... I haven't really started it yet. This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional... I thought I'd mix it up. You know, summon the forces of crime and... Yeah? Lying is cool, I guess.
Why does art inspire you so much? Excellent question. Art is a diverse range of visual, literary, auditory, and performative creativity. It's an expression of imagination and, in short, art is the highest form of human communication, representation, narrative, emotion. Have you looked in the mirror lately? You have the exact features of a savage art critic, with that beard and those clothes, disheveled and prophetic. Perhaps you should try to critique architecture too. Yes, you seek substance. No vapid representations and reproductions of social mores as made manifest in stuffy biennials. We're talking real, living art here. Become the art cop. Quit being so indecisive. What are you going for here? Some kind of indecisive and camp aesthetic now? Strike a bold shape here. Go art or go home. Exactly. It's not only your duty to only catch the criminals off the street, you must also apprehend criminals of the printing press and the gallery. Go ahead and provide savage criticisms, art cop. Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here. Yeah, why? It's a wall. An ordinary wall. Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
So,
You've been in there, he means. Talked to the boss man too, probably. He thinks, not yet. Better to get this business out of the way. Sweet. He is sincerely grateful he is not tracking down pieces of armor right. He's not lying about not doing it himself. He means he's not going to tell you cause he doesn't know. But he will shoot his mouth who he is and what they're fighting for. Is he actually comparing you, an officer? Come on. He's just trying to keep the peace. This seditious talk sounds like communism. Just so we're on the same page, communism is basically wanting to kill the rich people or deporting them to a labor. Not you would like to say, but them. This man has political theory, and it has not failed him today. What is this? News of the world? Talk about... Mañana sounds like a mess word, but he doesn't. Not a given name for certain. It's a taken name, the kind for artists, or criminals, or revolutionaries and the sort. An alias, a nom de guerre. honest with him. The encroaching doom is golden red. It is inside you, but also outside. You're Tequila Sunset. You have been Tequila Sunset for a long time now. You see his eyes turn teary with appreciation. He is extremely happy for you. It feels like there's an entire history behind the word, but it doesn't really matter. You got it. The idea of alcoholic swill sloshing around in your bloodstream feels fairly unappealing.
Dogs are busy enough. You gonna waste less of my time?
The hulking man oozes stark skin. A lorry stuck. The windows are clear. The woman still had nothing. Her smile, no response, wherever this woman is. Push him by asking him to show you the soles of his boots. He definitely looks like someone capable of a lynching.
No.
He's got a smoke right there, in his fucking hand. Snatch that
It's my last one. Sorry, hold on. I bet. Sorry I couldn't be of any help. Been admiring the stompers, right? For sure, I can.
On the bottom of the man's boots, you see an intricate tangle of treads with no immediately discernible pattern.
It's Revachol. Custom made. Cost me a... You'll see when the time comes, officer. True patriots carry Revachol in their very souls.
A crumpled billboard reading, Samaran butter soaks in the canal. Two ugly lines, judging by the size of the impact and the parallel lines of burnt rubber. The cause was probably a motor vehicle. These look like the same tire tracks I saw earlier, in front of the whirling rags. Side slip marks indicated that the vehicle was traveling up the crater at 35 kilometers an hour. The black marks on the roof indicate that the vehicle vaulted from the crater. The panel served as a takeoff ramp. The vehicle soared through the air, hitting the billboard and upsetting the posts. The sign broke the vehicle's fall into the canal. The Samaran butter billboard still looks freshly painted, suggesting it took the plunge within the past 72 hours. Still speeding, the vehicle made a loop and vanished into the fog along the coast. There are two good candidates. The Caprice 40, it's about the right size, and the tire marks look like they came. The Caprice 40 is a very popular model with bank clerks, topping pie delivery drivers, secondary school teachers, cops, strippers dressed as cops, undressed strippers. Very sturdy but light motor carriage. More likely than most to survive that jump. The Linear G22 is not a particularly popular model due to its peculiar proportions. You'd have to follow the tracks to be sure. A rusting control. This panel usually closes the water lock. You pull the lever. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. The man watches you in silence. A spring brings the lever. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning?
The shine on these sunglasses lasts.
The speakers below.
You keep coming back. That's...
Wow, a very large red t-shirt with an impressive print stands out from... Oh yeah, the print depicts a muscled man striding toward you, a giant sword in each hand, encircled by burning embers. Behind him is a cluster of cabins engulfed in flames. Beneath him are the words, "Smells like worn cotton," and a little worn cotton with a side of flea market or trash bin. You're not imagining it. Photon emissions? What is he talking about? His theory isn't exactly in incoherent, but its logic very, very unique energies indeed. That's very cheap for a printed t-shirt. That's still...
Hello again. How can I help you?
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light while the mind continues to race forward. A drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow. There's a note of indignation in those triangle patches on his vest. You have a feeling they mean something, like they're similar to the halogen rectangle on your jacket. He's taken for mental and emotional, not physical pain. The People's Pile was a Type U particle decay generator that failed immediately after entering service, releasing radioactive. Construction began during the Commune of Revachol. The people continued work on it after the Commune fell. They wanted a cheap source of energy for Revachol West. Needless to say, things didn't work out. An emergency valve defect resulted in steam pressure blowing the turbine, taking the fuel containment vessel up in the explosion. Both the faulty design and lack of finances contributed to the catastrophe. So much. On the patch, gamma radiation lines crossed with a... Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man. He shakes his head, slowly. As the hum grows louder, modulating but always unnaturally uncomfortably low, like it's coming not from not good. You're about to start suffocating. You have to stop. There's a growing sense of dread. The sound is coming from inside you, but also surrounding you. It feels as though someone is standing just outside of your range of vision. He nods to you, reassuringly, just as more diverse, higher-pitched sounds, some random, some appearing to form patterns, hit your eardrum. Seabirds most likely, gulls and such. That's it. The signal in the noise. A low range of sounds is easier to handle with a focal point, but still troubling. You are mesmerized by the sounds, but also feel nausea welling up as the motif continues, then begins to recede, dissolving in what must be the sound of water. It's almost like he's worried for you. Yes, darling. That's the coalition government ordained Parolidon. Not so sure about this. It's the ledger you found in the... Without resistance or sound, the two panels move against each other. The compartment is now open. Inside, it's slightly, ever so... Arson, petty theft, spousal abuse, handwritten... You don't exactly...
Can I help? Another thing. Great. Yes, and the phone company is taking its sweet time sending someone to fix it. Luke, who told you that? Fine, yeah. It looked like someone had messed with the wiring. It was shortly after the hanging, but...
He's exhausted from years of dealing with the...
If you do find out who cut the line, though, let me know, so I can forward them the repair bill. Oh, yes, that door, sure. There's nothing... No, I don't... Or some boring storage space with a...
He looks at the dust on his finger and wipes.
Yes? Another thing. Great. Yes?
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again.
I've got nothing to say. I suggest not wasting time on trivial pleasantries and focusing on why you are actually here.
You caught her off guard. Push her some more.
You are not here to chat up the legal counsel. You are here to...
You set the pace and the topic of these conversations here. Establish that. A man like Easy Leo could have said anything. Do not be restrained, sire.
I represent the Union and these men here.
A very minor victory.
I suggest...
You caught her off guard.
You are not here...
You set the pace. A man like Easy Leo could have said anything. Do not be restrained, sire.
I am a legal counsel.
A very minor victory.
I suggest...
You caught...
You are not here...
You set the pace. A man like Easy Leo could have said...
I represent the Union and these...
A very minor victory. Behind the dockworkers, a ceiling. The men are talking, but you swear you hear those black limbs tap on the window as the wind blows outside. just an ordinary wall. This must be it. The basement door is weather-worn. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place have turned green from sea air, and there's a knocker shaped like a lion's head. You knock silently. The upholstery muffles. You feel eyes on you, watching you from the window overlooking the yard. The door is slick with rain. In fact, it's oddly silent in the yard around you. No, but you try to be as silent as you can. It takes a bit of... Finally, the door unlocks with a small click. Well, buddy, you opened it. No need to go inside. It would be... Only curiosity could account for stepping over that threshold. There might be important information in the apartment. This is the flag of Revachol, the suzerain. This isn't just one sun, but there are little suns dancing around the big sun. This is the sevenfold sun. It's an optical atmospheric anomaly the first settlers saw. Happens in cold weather. 6 small suns around the big one. This complex halo phenomena is how old Revachol got its flag. It is but one of the many strange optic atmospheric phenomenon of this wondrous archipelago. You're sure you once saw sundogs in your youth, and blue flares. The flag doesn't seem to mind. It's just a colorful fabric with a sun sewn onto it. A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure. A dark-skinned woman grinning amidst mysterious symbols. A broad-shouldered man shoveling potatoes, and others. A little ring. Though cheerful, the images on the ceramic make you vaguely uncomfortable. There's something disdainful in the way the curves and the images betray a lack of interest in human beings. They are merely The owner of these mugs doesn't like people of other ethnicities very much. This person is unhappy. It's just a racist mug, but it will not happen. The note is written with a blue pencil on a piece of lined office. Someone has scribbled. You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice. The note does not... Are you serious? You sure you don't? Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. This orange machine, turning the crank, feels oddly satisfying. Like it's all gone now. What better to assuage the creeping... You slip your fingers under the frozen lid, but the ice is too cold for you to get a good grip. If you want to try again, then you need to have... This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting. This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric... Only the red cable is plugged into the breaker box, while the black and electric sizzle. The room is...
Of course, dear. Is there a particular cryptid that you're interested in learning about? What an interesting question. The Koldamama...
Koldamama Dakwa can also be translated...
What about what? I'm glad you like them.
The window stands broken in its frame. cold wind blows in. The shards face outward. Whatever broke this window came from the inside. A fine web of scarring covers the back of your right hand, but none of it is recent. More likely a projectile than a held object. There are no fragments on the floor from pulling a tool back in after impact. It is too large for a bullet, yet too small for a piece of furniture. You're looking. The shoe you found on the balcony fits the hole almost as well as your foot. It would have also been heavy enough if thrown. Congratulations, you smashed the window with your own shoe. Pretty much, but hey, at least you found your not that it will keep you warm at night. Brr. This fan has or has it been consigned there as punishment? The door is closed.
Hello, I'm Nia. Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Milius. So what kind of die?
Could this be the malicious entity? Perhaps it's wise to go along with this. She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her about the lynching.
Yes, Amelia is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these. Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking. I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need.
Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
Answers? How strange. I'm not sure how helpful I'll be, but go ahead and ask.
It almost looks as if the stones and dice are a natural part of the room. This person means you, or no one else. Absolutely no harm. No falsehoods are present. She's a novelty dice maker and doesn't have anything to hide. Ask what...
How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dice, not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay.
Some of those nice people have big bucks to spend on novelty items. She's thankful for the security they provide her.
Of course. Tell me what you have in mind. I think I have just the right one for you.
Police colors.
Not the most original, I know. But sometimes the obvious choice is obvious because it's better. Here, catch.
A beautiful woman tossing you a gift. Whatever you do, don't overthink it. You overthink it. Your hands can't agree what to do and the two dice drop to the floor and scatter in opposite direction.
Down the drain, like your career. I apologize, officer. That comment was unnecessary. That one is made of bloodstone with a lapis lazuli inlay. The other one was the inverse. They were a set, you see. It's a shame. They might have brought you luck. You definitely...
Is she pitying you?
Now, was there anything else? Nothing really.
Who cares about the dead body? We might be dealing with a malignant entity here.
I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out... Well, there's always something going on in the... During daytime, there are usually those kids. and
She's heard of the murder, but she's not sorry to disappoint you. Informing on someone in a murder investigation wouldn't...
But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid. I might have, but in this case, all I would have seen is my own reflection staring back from the...
It's light here, but dark in the yard.
It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides, I rarely get up to look. It's an odd profession, making dice for people, but I like it, and I prefer doing...
She nods.
Anything else, officer? We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know. But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus.
Plaisance was right. There's an entity living in the chimney. You should ask her about the curse.
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true. It's just capitalism. We only hear about tales of success, so it's often surprising to realize how many ventures actually fail. Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energies spared her somehow? Oh, right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in rags? Some people say it's part of the building complex. You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the East of the Commerce Central project. And then there is me. I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts.
Maybe it's just because she's so talented that she's been able to woo the curse.
I was just about to ask, what do you think?
Time has come to face the source. Fear not, for the forces of the universe are supporting you in this psychic quest.
Exactly. Truth is always so disappointing. But I'm glad we got this sorted out. Anything else I can...
That's all she has to say on the subject. She's been thorough, and Plaisance is not going to like what you... The bookstore closes starting 2100. You'll have to do that tomorrow.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific?
Oh, quite a lot of them spring to mind.
Oh, right. I hope you didn't try to ring me. I think none of those doorbells work, including mine. I'm still in the mid...
The doorbell with the empty name card must belong to her then.
That's right. I haven't even written my name there. As I said, it's quite useless right now. It doesn't work yet. You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the East Delta Commerce Center project. That...
If the whirling is part of the same building, then it's part of the doomed commercial area. The darkness of this place is there, too.
Right. It used to be a gaming arcade. This is an ancient failure, before my time. I'm not surprised how... My advice? Don't base your business on a fad. Hypnotism, floriography, trick-track, especially pinball. It can't be true. They don't work here anymore. They've been gone for years. Are you sure it was Slipstream SEA? Was it a woman? Maybe it was Plaisance from the bookstore. Tricentennial Electrics? It used to be a major electric company 100 years ago.
No, it was something. It was too real to be just a prank. Either we're dealing with a professional actress, or...
A prank is more likely, no? Oh, the kids these days. We were just one of them, and now they're terrorizing us. No, sure, I'm listening. Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a big hit around here. Turns out...
A bit of experimenting every now and then isn't bad.
Me neither. I just wanted off my face. It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemitep's boxing club. A community project, a kind man from Zemsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger, and that's why he wanted to start the gym, as his way of giving back. It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor that the punching bag...
You should have known it. It's not really full of that. No one would...
Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza. You mean Mr. Fabron, the taxidermist? No.
But what drugs exactly?
He got high on some weird taxidermy chemicals. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Eventually, they caused him to lose control of his bladder. The smell was awful.
Even you can probably do better than that. You can almost see it. A small, sickly old man, hunched behind his work desk, his pants stained with old piss. Stuffing.
There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years, until the... The atelier produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Apparently... And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. And, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection. Really? Anyway.
Poor guy. Suddenly, you get a feeling that insects are important to the case somehow. It's hard to say why.
Oh, this one's a mess. There used to be. Turns out, the business was actually set up as a front for an illicit group that was...
What's the snow?
And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own. It's a Sub Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with real victims. Some people pay good money to get off on it.
Nothing changes in her tone as she says that. As if it's just another piece. What does she mean to get off on it?
I believe the ICP got them. They have a special division that deals exclusively with...
It's the Copperpedia reporting in. ICP stands for...
In any case, I don't think it's your job to worry about what happens on Milius. I probably shouldn't have even mentioned it. Things like that are bad. They were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted from making rotor blades to skis, their chief executive... Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tulula or Tiumotiri or Hashtkor or wherever he is. Sure, it's illegal, but it's not exactly anything extraordinary in business. Besides, Slipstream is history now. All their remaining assets got seized by the bailiffs in 47.
They were just the props. Why return them?
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio.
She liked them.
They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. They certainly took their work very seriously, even if they seemed to be chronically the usual. They ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time. Well, I did hear them talking at times. They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some...
She sounds almost mocking when she says that.
Yes, but when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know, in the end they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic.
She's right. Showing up to work on time is hard. No, scratch that. Showing up to work at...
Not the wisest decision. You would have lost all your savings.
The result is 1. On a 20, the dice is black and filled with little silvery flakes, like...
Anything else? Oh boy, the fabled Revo Show ICT. You're in for a treat here. The place was owned by 2 guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing.
Indeed. What were the other ideas?
There was really just one, and it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to... And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
Sounds like she really didn't like those girls.